Hello, everybody. How are you? Happy December 28th. I know it's that time of year, isn't it, where we've all had quite a holiday season. We're still in holiday season, but we're still, most of us have had quite a long holiday season. A lot of us have had lots of rich food, and it's that time of year where we're kind of maybe not exercising as much as we normally do. And it's very often that time of year where we are like, oh my gosh, now what's happening now? What's happening with 2021? And I know it's been a really difficult year for most people, actually, and for some of you, really, really, really difficult 2020. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we're looking forward to a glorious, beautiful, hopeful, healthy 2021. Hello, everybody. So this is really exciting, and it's a time for change, for wonderful, positive change. And I think if there's anything that this pandemic has taught us, it's taught us the value, even that being an understatement, but the critical value of taking care of ourselves and our health. And really putting a spotlight on that and making that an absolute top priority. Really, truly, there is nothing that is more important. And so as we head into, hi, Marty and Austin, as we, all you beautiful ladies, it's so lovely to see you here tonight. So as we head into this little, it's almost like there's this little time, isn't there, between now and Thursday. I think it's like coming up Thursday is New Year, is when a lot of us start thinking, and I want to ask you, are you starting to think about, okay, now I'm thinking about the year ahead, and I need to make some New Year's resolutions. So that's what I really want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about New Year's resolutions, and I want to talk about how I no longer make New Year's resolutions. I don't think they work. And I'm going to tell you why. So I used to, many, many years ago, make the ubiquitous, oh my gosh, I've got to make my New Year's resolutions, and they'd be written out in my journal, or written out on cards, or I'll write them with friends, or you'll discuss them with friends. And then they wouldn't last. And it would be crushingly disappointing. I would say, honestly, by February 1st, most of them I probably wasn't really sticking to. I'd always be very ambitious with them. And the stats now tell us that 80%, which is a pretty high number, of New Year's resolutions that everybody makes really are done. They've failed by mid-February. So by the time we get to Valentine's Day, we're back to our old habits. All right, they've crept back in again. And so it's worse. It's even worse than, oh, they didn't really work, because I think years and years of them not really working, and you look back, I think there's nothing more depressing than looking back and going, oh my gosh, there's all those years of New Year's resolutions that didn't work. And then when you come to making this year's New Year's resolutions, you're just like, oh, it sort of loses its oomph a bit, doesn't it? Because you're just like, oh no, I mean, I'm going to make these, but really, is there any point? Because they all sort of tend to drop off. They fall by the wayside, and there is a reason why. And I'm going to talk to you about that. So a few years ago, being a coach, being a health coach, and having studied human behavioral change for many, many years, a good few years ago, I really realized that I just didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to do it to myself. I didn't want to be setting myself up for failure and setting myself up for a position where I was just going to be sort of really just giving myself a hard time and going, oh my gosh, you failed again, and I just didn't want that anymore. So I spent many years really digging into the psychology behind human behavioral change that sticks and that really lasts. And that's really what I do now. That's the main focus on what I do now, is to help women to make changes in their lives that absolutely stick long term. And there's a way of doing that that is very, very important, and it goes way beyond, it's much deeper, and it goes way beyond just writing something down that you're hopefully going to stick to. You know, noticed yourself that all those years that you've said things like, and these are the red flags, and things like, I must do such and such. I must go on a diet. I must start, you know, I must give up sugar. I must give up gluten. I must give up wine. I must give up cheese. I'm going to try to, so those are red flags, because as a coach, when I hear that, it's like, well, that's probably not going to happen. If it's like, I must, I should, or I'm going to try, then that is flimsy. It will, I'm just going to be brutally honest here about this, because we really want to make changes, right, that stick long term. And particularly as we get older, you know, if you're going to invest your time and your energy and your thoughts and everything else into making these changes that are enormously important to you for longevity and for health, and to keep you strong and healthy, and to be your most beautiful self, and to live your best life for years to come, then we really want, I care that you succeed in this. I care that you find a way that works beyond just, you know, I don't know what it might be, just many of the methods that you might have tried, you pop them in the chat, that just don't really make a massive difference. So the main thing is that if we're surface level with our New Year's intentions or our New Year's resolutions, oh, I want to be more, you know, relaxed this year, or I want to be healthier this year, or I want to, you know, I don't know, drink more smoothies this year, or I want to, what I really encourage you to do, the first thing to really think about is the why. Why? Why do you want to do whatever it is that you want to do? What's the why behind that? There has to be a really strong why. Because if it's just like, well, I just kind of want to because I want to, you know, maybe, I don't know, fit into my skinny jeans. I mean, great, that's lovely. That could be a good why. But go deeper than that. Go broader than that. Get juicier than that why. You know, why? Why is it vitally important to you to do whatever it is that you want to do? Let's take something like meditation, for instance. So my New Year's resolutions that I had for years when I was much, much younger, you know, in my teens and through part of my 20s, you know, every single New Year, I'm going to just, you know, meditate. I want to meditate. My New Year's resolution is that I'm going to meditate every single day. Well, it never happened. I think it worked for a week. And then it just all petered out, and then life got in the way, and I was just doomed to failure. Okay. I don't know, do you identify with that? Have you been there? It's a human condition. It's not your fault. It's a human condition that we all have. Our brains aren't wired to do many of these things that will lead us to optimal health. Our brains simply aren't wired that way. Unfortunately, our brains are wired to very often do the opposite. And now in this modern day society world that we live in, with the modern day food system as it is, full of, for the most part, 90% foods that are deleterious to our health and highly addictive, right? And the pace of life right now, with all the myriad of distractions that make our stress levels go through the roof and disable us from being able to slow down and be mindful, we really are up against it. So the first thing that I would ask you to do is whatever it is that you want to improve upon this year, what is your why? Why is it vitally important for you to get into shape, to lose those unwanted pounds, to get your blood sugar down, to maybe get your cholesterol down, to maybe get your blood pressure down, to even get, if it's not even necessarily a health thing, if it's a cosmetic thing, which nothing wrong with that, if you want to get into better shape, because it's really getting you down. You feel so, your confidence is on the floor maybe, or it's really beginning to take a nosedive because you've been slowly gaining weight and you don't feel your attractive self anymore. You don't feel attractive in your relationship. You don't feel attractive out there in the workplace. You know, start looking at those reasons why. Why is it vitally important? That could be a why connected to why it's vitally important that you reach your ideal weight this year, that you lose weight, that you lose whatever your weight loss goal is, whether it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, or 100 pounds, doesn't really matter, or 10 pounds. It doesn't matter whether it's 10 pounds or 100 pounds. What matters is the why. We don't just lose weight just because, well, I just kind of want to lose weight. There's got to be a massive, critical why behind it. Now, ladies, if any of you are stuck, really stuck on your health and weight loss journey, and you're just struggling, and maybe you've been struggling for many, many years. I help women mainly in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. In this age group, many of us have been struggling for many, many years. So if that's you, if you are really struggling right now and you're looking forward into the new year and you're thinking, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do this on my own. Because goodness knows, I bet you tried to do it on your own. And many of us have for many years. We cobble together all this information. We live in an information age. There's so much information out there, we don't know what to do with it, right? We are not short of new information, many different experts saying different things and many different diets and approaches and whatnot. But if you're sitting here right now and you're going, but I really am struggling, and there's something deeper in me that it really is preventing me from moving forward and sticking to something and having what I want and having the health and the weight loss and everything that I want. If that's you, if you're in that place, then you might want to consider booking what I call a breakthrough call with me. And I'll put a link in to the chat right now where you could book a breakthrough call with me. And on that call, those calls are there for you as a complimentary call, but it's a call for you, for us, to break through maybe what your blocks are and for you to get clarity on really maybe what you need to do and what it's going to take for you to have a complete overhaul. Now, this call isn't just for, what nutritional tweaks that I need to make. There's a lot of very healthy women in this community. And if your questions are there for, you've got little nutritional questions or nutritional tweaks or whatever, that's not what this call is for. If you have those questions, then I am available to you every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. in my Facebook group, my private group, which is Healthy Living and Weight Loss for Women Over 40. And I have opened my mail bag every Tuesday and I answer your most pressing questions. So if you've got questions that are related to, it could be a beauty tweak, a green beauty or nutrition or something like that. If it's just a little question that you want answered, that's not what this call is for. Please, if you have questions, make sure you're in that group, submit your questions, and I get through as many questions as I possibly can on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time every single week. I make myself available to you. But really, this call is for you if you are really struggling and you know that you've got to a point in your life where you can't do it on your own and you need some help, okay? So other ways of New Year's resolutions. So other things, a little direction that I want to point you in as you start thinking about the year ahead for you is think about your why. And also think about the specificity of what it is that you want to change. Change and transformation. So I'm all about transformation. My lovely clients that I work with, I think there are some of you on tonight. You know, I have my beautiful coaching program where I work with a very small number of women. I only open it up to a very small number of spots are available every single month. And so you lovely ladies who have done that, you know, who've worked with me on a really deep level, you know, make yourself known in the chat and say hi to everybody. But you'll know, because that's how I coach you as a health coach, as a mindset coach, is that change and transformation, because it's all about transformation for me, it has to be deep. Life is so short. We're not here just to make little changes that like, oh, there's little baby steps and little changes, and maybe there's, you know, and you can make baby steps and little changes in some ways, but honestly, it requires a deeper piece. And the deeper piece that it requires is the mindset and the psychology. And as a transformational coach, that's what I do with the ladies that I work with. It's the psychological piece in there, the mindset piece, because if this doesn't change what's between your ears, you can put any little strategy, whether it's big steps or baby steps, into place, and it's very unlikely that they're going to last long term. We need deep and lasting transformation. You need to feel a shift in your head, your heart, and your gut. And that shift is what shifts everything and changes everything. But what I say to my lovely ladies is that, and for all of you who are watching, whether or not you know, book a call with me or whatever, or decide to work with me or not, it doesn't matter. I want you to have this anyway, is to really think about the specificity of what it is. So again, if you think about, if you say, oh, I want to be more healthy in 2021, that's not specific, right? So it's not going to work. You're not going to find that change. You're just not. So in what way do you want to get more healthy? In what area do you want to get more healthy? And what is more healthy? What does more healthy look like for you? So do you see, as you start to ask yourself these questions, you start to drill down and you start to get more and more specific. Is getting healthy for you that you want to drop 20 points on your cholesterol numbers? That's what Barb, beautiful Barb, who did my program, my coaching program, she dropped her cholesterol dropped 20 points. That was something very specific that she wanted to address. She also wanted to, she was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic, and she wanted to not be pre-diabetic. She wanted a clean bill of health from her doctor to go, you are no longer pre-diabetic. Very, very specific markers that she started working toward. It might be something completely different for you. It might be this year, I want to, let's look at physical health, physical fitness. I want to get fitter. That's very general. Change doesn't happen in the, transformation doesn't happen in the general. I want to get fitter and stronger. Way too general, too general. In what way? Do you want your arms to get stronger? Do you want your abs to get stronger? Are we talking about you want to get a six-pack? Or you just want to feel more core strength in your body? Is it that you want more balance? Maybe that's really what we're talking about. Because in getting stronger, you know, as we get older, for a lot of ladies, you know, we need the strength piece in there. That's the really big piece, isn't it? Sorry, the balance piece in there. Because without balance, it's hard to get strong. It's hard to do your resistance training and all the training that you want to do unless you've got really good balance. So is balance the specific thing that you want to work on? And then you can drill down even more and go, okay, well, it's balance. I want to be physically, it could be emotionally more balanced. But that's a whole nother thing, whole nother area of specificity. Can't go into that right now. But let's just stick with the physical. So what does that balance look like for you? Is it that you want to be more balanced on your yoga mat, when you do yoga? Or is it that you want to be more balanced because you keep falling over, twisting your ankle? Or you want to feel, you want to have more balance because you do something in your life functionally, like you have a standing job, or you had a fall last year. Again, drill down. Then it might be, you might even drill down to, you know what it is. It's, I know that I want to get more balanced. I want to have strength and balance in my feet and my ankles. That's what I want to work on. Okay. Can you see now we're really specific? Then it's like, how am I going to do that? Because a New Year's resolution, oh, I want to get more balanced or whatever, you know, without a strategy in place, it's not going to happen. So how are you going to do it? How? What's your strategy? There you go. You need to have a strategy. So can you see now, I hope you can really see why I say that New Year's resolutions don't work. As a coach, as a mindset and health coach, I don't recommend New Year's resolutions. They'll set you up to fail. If 80% of New Year's resolutions fail, and there's 20% of people, and I'm sure some of you even on tonight might have made a resolution a few years, maybe you gave up smoking, maybe you gave up, I don't know what it is, gluten or sugar or something, and maybe you're one of that rare 20% that it just managed to stick with you. Good for you if that's you. You are the exception. You're the 20%. But understand there are 80% of people for whom it doesn't work long term. And that's why diets do not work. Rapid weight loss diets and all the trendy diets that you're going to see coming out in January, they don't work beyond a few weeks or months. There's a lot of reasons why they don't work. But, you know, one of the reasons is that we haven't got that piece in there. We haven't got all those steps in there that I've just gone over with you. It needs to be, you need to have a strong why. You need to really, that why needs to be critical for you. And there needs to be specificity. And then there needs to be a plan. There needs to be strategy. How am I going to do this? And in the how, the strategy might be, you might decide that you're going to work with a trainer. It might be that you're going to work with a nutritionist. You might decide to work with a coach, whatever. But very often the how, I believe, entails help of some kind. I see a lot of women really struggling because they try to do things on their own. Sometimes they can, but we as human beings, we're tribal, we need support, and very often we need accountability. We need accountability, and then we need to learn how to be accountable to ourselves going forward. And these are things that we're typically not taught. We're not taught at school, these skills. We're not taught at college, these skills, right? And then we grow up, and then we parent our children, for those of you who are mums, and we parent them, and we try to do the best that we can. And a lot of you are amazing, amazing mothers. But who gets left out? Who gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list? You, me, right? And particularly in that age group of 50 and 60, kind of average of 50 and 56, is it's a sort of vital crossroads age when we're in our kind of, I would say, almost mid-50s to mid-60s, because it's that time where we've given so much of ourselves to life, to our work, to our children, to our spouses. You know, we've given a lot. And very often, I would say 99% of the women that I speak to, their needs have just slowly dropped to the bottom of the list. And I'm going to finish on this. We can have all the best New Year's resolutions in the world, right? But unless you are putting yourself first, and unless you really believe that you deserve to put yourself first, and you deserve to have help, and you deserve to really basically put yourself as a priority and your needs, your wellness needs first, then it's really not going to happen, because you'll always be undermined by a belief that it'll be like, well, I've got to put everybody else first. And then years of just being on the bottom of the laundry heap, as it were, is not going to, you know, you've got to put your own oxygen mask on first. before you can help others. So this is my rallying cry to you ladies, is this year, 2020 has been a doozy for almost everybody. It's been horrifyingly difficult for so many people. But I think if there ever is a silver lining, which you know me, I always look for a silver lining in everything, it's put a spotlight on this has to come first. My health has to come first now. And if you're struggling with being pre-diabetic, diabetic, both, all those, conditions are not, don't put you at higher risk for complications from COVID and any virus, frankly. So now is the time we can, through nutrition, and not just nutrition, but through all the different lifestyle changes that you can make. You can boost your immunity. You can be strong. You can put yourself first. You are your best line of defense. You're both physiologically and mentally and emotionally, right? Many of us are in huge stress right now, but then that's the other piece, is like, how are you managing that stress? So there's a lot here. There's a lot to think about, but all to say, if you make one New Year's resolution, make it be that I'm going to spend some time this year going deeper, journaling, looking at my why, looking at how to make it specific, and having a plan in place. And as I said, if any of you are really struggling and you're like, I just don't know, I've been trying to do this for so many years and I just can't, on my own, then you're welcome to book a breakthrough call with me, and I can show you how I can maybe support you if it's a good fit in terms of coaching, and if not, then I can sort of point you in the right direction. And the link for booking a call is I think it's earlier on in this chat, so go do that. All right, my beautiful ladies, Carrie, oh my gosh, Jewel, my beautiful, beautiful ladies. I'm so excited. I'm going to be getting on a call with you in the next few days. We're going to be drilling deep. Get your pen writing. Start thinking about that, because we're going deep in that group. And I'm very excited to do that with you ladies. A lot coming your way in 2021. All right, I love you, Carrie. Love you so much. Araceli, it is lovely to see you. Araceli is a beautiful lady who's been to many, many of my retreats, and many of you in my community know her very, very well. Kathy, Happy New Year, and sending you love, all the beautiful hearts that you put in there. Maureen, you are so welcome. Meredith, she's on. Ladies in the house, Ignite ladies in the house, Glow Up ladies in the house. I love you so much. I'm so looking forward to seeing you all on Friday. I think Friday we're all meeting up, so really looking forward to that. All right, my beautiful ladies, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay healthy. Put yourself first. It's not selfish. By doing that, then you truly get to love everybody else and be there for everybody else in your life. All right, Serena, it's lovely to see you.